life. I go, well, dude, I assumed you didn't. That's why we were joking about it. And he goes, well, absolutely. He goes, because especially, if you have any kind of profile, people are watching and seeing what you're doing, and you need to be careful because you don't want it to, the only thing you have, especially if you're involved in some sort of medium where you're communicating ideas,
Right.
and obviously he was referring to me in the context of IJR and other
Sure,
things.
sure.
He goes, your reputation and your integrity are the only things you have, and you can't give potential critics even a hint of an opportunity to find something about you. So this is a guy.
And listen, we as editors, IJR, we've talked about that very thing, just as it relates to Facebook. And of course, nothing out there, like we're talking about as it relates to Croft. But I think twice about stuff that that I might post. And I mean, I love to argue with the liberals and put some stuff out there that I think is hilarious. But even in messaging, because once you do that, as you say, your credibility and the exposure to, in this case, as we're talking IJR, but you think back to Croft and anybody, forever who's done this kind of stuff. Once it's out there, I mean, there was nothing like a scorned woman or a guy who feels that he's been cheated on or whatever have you. We've all seen stories like that where they're gonna get even.
Oh yeah,
You got all
absolutely.
kinds of exposure.
Yep, tons and tons of exposure. Yep. Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not. It's. I don't know. I do think it's a different thing than lying on air. Well, it certainly is a different thing. Lying on air about yourself in stories, Williams
Sure.
versus Croft, it's a different thing. On the other hand, um, if I were an executive at 60 Minutes or at NBC, I would have some sort of morals clause in contracts because there's no possible way I would want have somebody representing my show and my brand uh, that it has to have some sort of associative trickle effect. Because when Saturday Night Live does a thing about 60 Minutes, does a thing about tweeting, about Steve Croft tweeting, because this is exactly the kind of thing they're going to do. They're going to make a reference to, there's a little stopwatch at a chick 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 chick. How many seconds do I have left to get my text off to my girlfriend? You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. No, you're exactly right. And maybe that's a good idea. I do think that, the crime of demonstrating countless times that you're not credible for a journalist is worse in that respect and should be fired. Ultimately, if, well, I don't even know if ultimately, I mean, maybe even now. But you're right. I mean, in this case, like a morals clause, because it certainly happened. Politicians have resigned, heads of companies have resigned. So I think you're right on that in that respect too.
Yeah. Oh, funny. I'm trying to pull up an IJR article about Brian Williams, and I just found yours that you did 7 months ago about Brian Williams taking a shot at Republicans that you put up 7 months ago about him.
Tell me about
Funny.
it.
You might not even remember that story.
I don't know that I do.
Yeah, funny.
Early Alzheimer's. What was
Apparently.
his What
I
was
mean,
his
early
shot, or did you see
Alzheimer's.
it? Yeah, I know.
Oh,
What
I'm
was
already
his?
past it. I don't
All right,
remember.
never mind. Anyways, okay. I've been a big fan of Brian for a long time. Um, what do we got? We got 11 minutes. You know who I am a fan of? I mean, to change the subject here. Um, Jordan, dude, as in the country.
Oh my God, yes.
I think
Right?
they say what they mean and they mean what they say, right?
Yeah. So these guys have been, they're and boom, gone. Love it.
And they're going Rambo on ISIS right now to the extent that they can.
Yeah. I tweeted this yesterday. Dennis Miller said, "Who would have thought we would have been at a place where we would all in America long for a leader named King Abdullah?"
That's brilliant. That's why Miller is who he is. I
Yep.
told you I put that. I juxtaposed the picture of Abdullah looking all again Rambo badass in his military outfit next to Obama on that silly bike with the helmet on. But that's exactly right. In fact, I was joking with someone. Who would have thought that? What? As little as I don't know how long ago. Like we would long to have the ability to have Netanyahu Abdullah ticket in 2016. But so Jordanian foreign minister comes out on CNN yesterday and just goes badass. He said, "We're up in the ante. We're going after them wherever they are with everything we have. We are going after them in every possible way, wherever they are. We will have to teach them a lesson." I think if there was any doubt by anyone about, here we go, that these terrorists are brutal murderers, barbarians, then then that doubt is gone. And he was asked about, Jihadi John. You know who he is. He's this British dude that shows up at the beheadings, the videos. Everyone is our target. Can you just imagine Barack Obama saying anything close to this?
Oh my gosh, absolutely not. No, what I can imagine him doing is commenting that in 1137, Torquemada killed two Christians. That's what I can imagine him saying in response to it.
Of course, and the other part you would expect him to do during comments like this, or what's gone on here is to defend Islam, because that's what he does.
Right.
So he comes out. We talked about this, but this notion, I know you saw this. This is verbatim. We're obligated to use our freedom. That would be us, our freedom of speech, to condemn insults. And he's speaking about Islam.
Yeah.
It's incomprehensible to me. It's incomprehensible to me. He says, and in fact, we defend the legal right of a person to insult another's religion. Here we go. We're equally obligated to use our free speech to condemn such insults. And he talks about it specifically, and he says, particularly religious minorities. So let's translate that. Minority religions, right, as in not Christianity or Judaism.
Right.
So what I just need to check.
No, Judaism would be a minority religion. Judaism there's a small number of Jews, man.
Yeah, you're right. Let's set that aside, because really Christianity is where I was going with that. I just threw that in there to try to sound inclusive and not like a right-wing Bible clutcher. But
yeah, you're on the radio with me, so there's no problem of you being associated with the right-wing Bible clunchers.
Well, there you go. So okay, so let's do that again. Particularly religious minorities are the targets. So I was scratching my head, and you being the the expert on previous Obama statements that you are, when was the last time you heard this guy speak out against those who criticize Christianity?
That is a very good question.
You got nothing, right?
No, nothing.
So this guy's just an embarrassment. I mean, this insistence, this incessant insistence on being the cheerleader and the protector of Islam every time something like this happens, as compared and contrasted with Jordan, King Abdullah, is just this is why we criticize him, you guys. I mean, like our friend, who I quit mentioning his name, but when I put up that image, the juxtaposition between the two of them, why do you have to do that? Why do you have to build up another leader, versus our president? I said, I'm not building anybody up. I'm pointing out what he is and what he does. So he ends his comment, because we know that our nations are stronger when people of all faiths feel that they are welcome, that they too are full and equal members of our countries. So again, let me just a couple more points, and I'll just stop this particular rant. It's the same guy who said before the UN General Assembly, the future should not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam, right? Do you suppose that the Islamists, the Muslims, agree with that part about people of all faiths being welcome, equal members of our countries? No, right?
Well, they're, I mean, a significant number of the people they're killing are fellow Islamists, just not the exact same type of Islamists. Of course, they don't believe that. I mean, of course, they don't believe that.
No.
Now, here's the thing. I will say this, man. I don't disagree with anything he just said there about, pushing back against people that, whatever. His to a certain extent, I do not disagree with that in theory.
Really?
Okay. Well, no.
Because he's talking about curbing free speech.
Okay, no. I don't
Yes, he
believe
is.
that. You know what? I don't believe that that's what he's doing. I don't saying that there's a government. I think he's talking about individuals. There's a legal right to insult another's religion. Here's the thing. I don't believe we're obligated to use our free speech to condemn insults. So I can't
Okay,
disagree
but he
with
also
that.
he said, and if in fact we defend the legal right of a person to insult another's religion, we're equally obligated to use our free speech to condemn such insults. So
Okay. Here's the thing: is he said that we have the legal right to insult another's religion. We have the legal right to condemn such insults. Those are
legal, right. He's saying we're morally obligated to. I know
Yes,
it's two different things. He's obligated to condemn them.
Right. That's a different standard. Now, here's the thing: is if he said something to which I agreed, which is we have the legal right to insult a religion, we have a legal right to condemn those insults. Let's say he said that, which he did not, but let's assume he said that, and that would be something I would agree with. Why in the hell is that the response a few days after the world is talking about this guy being burned in a cage?
Sure. And, we've read his comments, but let's distill them down. What is he really saying? He's saying you shouldn't speak out against Islam. Minority
No,
religion.
that's exactly right.
That's what he's saying. And I find that reprehensible.
By the way, I don't know if you saw this. Soup just put this up a minute ago on his website. As they're scrutinizing the claims of Brian Williams, they've just figured out that he was staying at the Ritz-Carlton.
Is this the New Orleans thing?
In New Orleans. He was staying at the Ritz-Carlton, which is not in the French Quarter, and there were floodwaters outside the hotel he was in.
Really?
Yep, there are pictures of it.
Hmm.
So the issue there is it may be less of a bald-faced lie, at least on the Katrina thing for him.
So, yeah, good for Sue. We got to have him back on, by the way, sometime. But so then I guess we move from the Ritz-Carlton to dead bodies and dysentery. But no, we'll see.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing: is that the particular Katrina thing is still developing. What did he say? Did those bodies actually happen there, and all of this? But what's happening now is, how in the world can NBC live with their anchor having literally every word he's ever said now being scrutinized?
And will moving forward.
And that has to be cut off. It just does. Period. Don't you think?
The tangled webs we weave. No, I do. I absolutely do.
Yep. All right. So, right after the break, man, John Gabriel's going to be back on with this. I'm very excited about that. I
am too, dude. And I want to see if he's awarded himself any other prestigious awards. Don't you?
Well, you know what? I'll make up an award to give him while we're on the air with him.
I think you should, and then we'll have his acceptance.
We're going to give him end of the first full week of February radio broadcast Guest of the Day award.
I think that's perfect. Okay, you guys, we're out of here. We will be back with the one, the only, John Gabriel. You'll be back too. This is going to be fun. We love John. This is The Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Howsam. Do not go away.
This is your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for Friday, February 6th. Jordan sent 20 F-16s into Raqqa, Syria, Thursday in response to the release of the ISIS video